The Vraxian security officer's mandibles clicked in confusion as he approached the human sitting cross-legged on the polished floor beside Gate 47. The man was reading something on a datapad, a small cup of what the humans called coffee sitting beside him. His luggage was stacked neatly against the wall, well away from the flow of passengers moving through the massive spaceport terminal. "Excuse me, human," the officer said, his translator rendering the clicks and whistles into standard galactic common. "Your boarding pass indicates you should proceed through the security scanner for your flight. It departs in 30 minutes. The human looked up and smiled. It was a strange expression that the Vraxian had learned meant friendliness rather than aggression, though it still showed far too many teeth for comfort. "Oh, I know. I'm waiting for them." He gestured toward 3 other humans sitting on benches across the corridor. They too had their luggage beside them, appearing completely relaxed. "Waiting for them?" The officer's confusion deepened. "They are also ticketed for your flight?" "Yes, sir. We're all heading to the new mining colony on Kepler 442b. Company hired us as a team." The security officer consulted his handheld scanner. All 4 humans were indeed scheduled on the same transport. "Then why are you not proceeding through security together?" The human took a sip of his coffee and gestured at the massive scanning arch that dominated the security checkpoint. It was a marvel of galactic technology, capable of detecting everything from concealed weapons to biological contaminants in milliseconds. "They don't trust your scanners yet." The officer's eye stalks drew back in surprise. "Our scanners are certified to Galactic Security Standard Level 9. They are used in every major spaceport across 200 worlds. They are perfectly safe and accurate." "Oh, I'm sure they are," the human said agreeably. "But you have to understand, we've only been part of the galactic community for 8 months now? Most of these folks have never left Earth before. They've spent their whole lives hearing stories about how scanning technology works." "Stories?" The Vraxian was now thoroughly confused. "What manner of stories?" The human named Marcus, according to his travel documents, stood up and stretched. He was tall even by human standards, and the security officer had to crane his eye stalks upward to maintain visual contact. "Well, there are stories about the old airport scanners back on Earth. Some people worried they might cause health problems, radiation exposure, that sort of thing. Then there were privacy concerns. People didn't like the idea of machines seeing through their clothes." "But our scanners use quantum entanglement resonance," the officer protested. "There is no radiation, and the imaging is processed by AI that detects only contraband or dangerous items. No biological imaging is retained." "I know that. You know that. But they don't know that yet." "Not really. Not in their bones." Marcus glanced at his companions. "See that woman there? The one with the red jacket? That's Sarah Chin. She's a structural engineer, brilliant with fusion reactor design, but she grew up in a small town where the nearest city was 100 kilometers away. First time she saw your scanning arch, she had a panic attack." The security officer followed the human's gaze. The woman in question appeared calm now, chatting with one of her companions, but he could see the way her eyes kept darting toward the security checkpoint. "She is afraid of the scanner?" "Not exactly afraid. More like deeply uncomfortable with something she doesn't understand yet. Her grandfather used to tell her about old medical scans that sometimes missed cancer or other diseases. He died because of a misdiagnosis. So she has this deep-seated distrust of any machine that claims to see inside you." The Vraxian's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. In all his years of security work, he had never considered that beings might have cultural trauma associated with scanning technology. "And the others?" "Tom, the guy with the beard, he's former military. Earth military. He's conditioned to never let unknown technology scan him without understanding exactly how it works and who has access to the data. It's not paranoia exactly. More like Professional caution taken to an extreme. And the third? Marcus chuckled. That's Danny Rodriguez. He's actually fine with the scanners. He's just keeping Sarah company because they're dating. Where she goes, he goes. It's actually pretty sweet. The security officer processed this information. But you went through the scanner without hesitation. I saw you clear security 30 minutes ago. I'm a xenotechnician, Marcus explained. My job is understanding and working with alien technology. I read the technical specifications for your scanners before I even booked my ticket. I know they're safe. I know they're accurate. I trust them completely. He paused. But trust isn't something you can just download into someone's brain, you know. It has to be built over time. An announcement chimed through the terminal, indicating that boarding would begin in 20 minutes. Marcus glanced at the security line, which had grown shorter. Look, they'll go through. They just need a bit more time to mentally prepare themselves. Sarah's been talking to the AI assistant on her data pad, reading about how the scanners work. Tom's been watching other species go through without incident. They're working themselves up to it. The Vraxian security officer was silent for a moment. In his culture, trust in proven technology was simply logical. If something was certified safe by the Galactic Standards Council, it was safe. There was no room for doubt. But humans, it seemed, operated differently. Your species is very complicated. You have no idea, Marcus said with a laugh. We're contradictory as hell. We can be totally logical about some things and completely irrational about others. We can send people to other planets but still be nervous about stepping into a scanning arch. We can design fusion reactors but still get scared of thunderstorms. We're working on it, though. Another human approached the group. This was an older woman wearing the uniform of the Galactic Integration Office, the human agency responsible for helping Earth citizens adapt to life in the wider galaxy. She nodded to Marcus and then went to speak quietly with his companions. That's Officer Williams, Marcus explained. She's a cultural liaison. Part of her job is helping humans work through their anxieties about galactic technology. She'll walk them through the scanner, explain everything step by step, and make sure they understand what's happening. The Vraxian watched as Officer Williams spoke with Sarah, her manner calm and reassuring. After a few minutes, Sarah nodded and stood up. Danny immediately stood with her, and Tom followed a moment later. Together, the three of them walked toward the security checkpoint, Officer Williams beside them. She is going through the scanner with them? The security officer asked. For the first time, yes. Next time they fly, they probably won't need her. And the time after that, they'll wonder why they were ever nervous. That's how humans adapt. We need that first experience to be positive and safe. And then, we build on it. Sarah reached the scanner first. The security officer could see her take a deep breath before stepping into the arch. The scan took less than 2 seconds, and she emerged on the other side looking surprised. Danny went through next, waving cheerfully, followed by Tom, who nodded with apparent approval. See? Marcus said. They're fine now. They just needed to do it once to prove to themselves that nothing bad would happen. The security officer's translator conveyed a series of thoughtful clicks. Your species requires empirical evidence even when logical proof exists. That's one way to put it. We're experiential learners. You can tell us something is safe 1,000 times, but until we experience it ourselves, there's always that little voice of doubt in our heads. Marcus picked up his coffee cup and drained the last drops. It's not that we don't trust you exactly. We just trust our own experiences more than we trust abstract assurances. This explains much about human behavior, the security officer mused. The reports about humans refusing to use certain teleportation technology, the incidents with humans insisting on manual overrides for automated systems, the preference for redundant safety measures. Yeah, we're probably driving your efficiency experts crazy, Marcus admitted. But look at it this way. Once we do trust something, Once we have that personal experience that confirms it's safe, we're incredibly loyal to it, and we'll defend it to others. Next time Sarah flies, if she sees another human nervous about the scanners, she'll be the one explaining how safe they are. She'll share her experience, and that will help them. Officer Williams returned, giving Marcus a thumbs-up gesture that the Vraxian had learned meant success. "Your friends are through," she said. "You should probably head to the gate." Marcus gathered his belongings. "Thank you, officer," he said to the Vraxian. "Sorry if we caused any confusion." "No confusion," the security officer said, though that was not entirely true. "Safe travels, human Marcus." As Marcus walked away, the security officer filed a report about the incident, not as a security concern, but as a cultural observation. The Galactic Integration Office had requested that security personnel document any unusual human behaviors that might help in the ongoing effort to help Earth integrate into the galactic community. He noted that humans appeared to have a complex relationship with trust and technology, requiring personal experience to overcome cultural conditioning. He noted that this might be perceived as distrust, but was actually a different form of verification. He noted that humans could be highly logical in some areas while remaining emotionally driven in others, and that this contradiction did not appear to cause them distress. Most importantly, he noted that patience and understanding could bridge these cultural gaps. Sarah Chen, who had been terrified of the scanner an hour ago, had walked through it calmly. With time and experience, these humans would adapt. The security officer returned to his station, watching the endless stream of species moving through his checkpoint. Vraxians, Klendari, Rixians, and dozens of others. And now, increasingly, humans. Each species brought their own quirks and complications to galactic civilization. A young human child approached the scanner, holding her parent's hand. She looked up at the arch with wide eyes, clearly nervous. The security officer watched as the parent knelt down, explaining something in quiet tones. The child nodded, took a deep breath, and walked through holding her parent's hand. On the other side, she smiled with relief and pride. Another human learning to trust galactic technology, one experience at a time. The security officer's mandibles clicked in what might have been the Vraxian equivalent of a smile. Complicated species, these humans. But perhaps that was what the galaxy needed. A species that questioned, that verified, that built trust slowly but thoroughly. As his shift ended and he prepared to head home, the security officer found himself thinking about his own relationship with technology. He had never questioned the scanners, had never thought to doubt their safety. He simply accepted them because they were certified and approved. Maybe he thought there was something to be learned from the human approach. Maybe blind trust in certification was not always better than earned trust through experience. Maybe the humans, with all their complications and contradictions, had something valuable to teach the rest of the galaxy. At Gate 47, Marcus and his team boarded their transport to Kepler 442b. Sarah took a window seat, looking out at the massive ships docked in the spaceport. Tomorrow she would help build fusion reactors on an alien world. But today, she had conquered her fear of a simple security scanner. It was a small victory, but that was how humans worked. One small victory at a time, building towards something greater. And perhaps that was the most human thing of all.